From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MVW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. We asked for questions from you guys for a Fire Away Friday. We got those, so we'll go through those and any other news that strikes us over the course of the next hour or so to close this work week from a podcast standpoint. A podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford, the Blue Sky. You know you're going to get ribs. You can go in, pick them up. You can call ahead. They'll wrap them up and have them ready to go, wet or dry, waiting on you there at the Oxford Exxon, as well as the daiquiris, as cheap as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you so desire. You can also save money at the pump with the mobile rewards app, the Speed Pass Plus program, and much more there with Craddock Oil and the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. We tell you about it all the time, but it's true. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. You'll find out what that means if you'll just make the call, 662-257-1900. At the very least, it's a baseline for you moving forward. It is probably going to get you awfully interested in a Ford product, and as someone who has purchased from Clark Ford now 3 times, I can tell you that you'll be very pleased with your purchase. You'll be very pleased with the service, and you'll just be pleased in general. So, again, 662-257-1900. Tell him that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast, and you will save $500 off the bottom line.
So we'll get into questions here in just a second. First, the only news that popped up this morning, Doug Nikhazy, the Ole Miss freshman left-hander, he's been named as one of the training camp participants for Team USA, the collegiate national team that plays all over the world basically this summer. Ole Miss, I think, has had one for I think 3 years in a row on the collegiate national team. But what they do, they play a bunch of exhibition games, inter-squad games, something like that, and then they announce a 26-man roster that will then represent the country. So he's I think he's on the training camp portion. I think there's some kids who immediately get put on the final roster, but he's in the training camp portion of the deal. So anyway, a little bit of news there. We'll get into more baseball, obviously, as it goes on. Did you watch all of Game 7 or Game 6 last night?
I did. I watched it from buzzer to buzzer. It was really entertaining. If you just wanted to be entertained, it was entertaining. Congrats to the Raptors. I'm sure they've been eagerly waiting my congratulations. So congratulations to the Raptors, to Kyle Lowry, to Marc Gasol, to Kawhi Leonard, Fred VanVleet, that team. I watched them a lot the last couple of years, and they're fun.
That is one of the benefits of you being fairly crazy when it comes to the NBA. You watched that team grow pretty much a lot over a couple of years.
I watched them grow over the last several years, and Serge Ibaka is probably one of my favorite players in the league, dating back to his Thunder days, and so I was excited for him. And
a lot of Marc Gasol fans around this area, obviously.
Yeah, so I watched them a lot, and they made the deal where they got rid of DeRozan and they got Kawhi Leonard, and it got him over the top. And I thought it was fitting that last night Kyle Lowry was as good as he was. Had some big moments. VanVleet's one of the most underrated players ever since he's been in high school, to his time at Wichita State, to now his time in the NBA. He's undersized, but absolutely tough as a lion. And you got to think that's the end for the Warriors. Klay Thompson goes down in the third quarter with – immediately when it happened, I said, Carson, he just tore his ACL. And then he ran off, and Carson said, well, he's running. And I said, I'm telling you, he tore his ACL. And I actually went to bed last night without knowing, woke up in the middle of the night and saw it.
Yeah.
A torn ACL for him. So it's amazing how for the Warriors in a week, Kevin Durant tears an Achilles. Klay Thompson tears an ACL. Both guys could be free agents. The Warriors have really difficult decisions to make, and they close that arena, crowning another team champ. And They had one hell of a magnificent 5-year run. And before Thompson got hurt, I thought these sons of bitches are about to win this game. They're going to send this thing back to a Game 7, and they're on fumes. And then when Thompson went down, even after that, they fought valiantly and made buckets. And they're a great champion. I hate them. I'm so glad they're gone, but they're a great champion. They do not get a quote from Draymond Green last night that I thought was really good. It was exactly right. Everyone focuses on the beautiful offense and the scoring and the shooting. But at their core, they are absolute, just fierce competitors. They have been on the ropes so many times over the last few years. The Thunder had them on the ropes. The Rockets had them on the ropes. Cleveland had them on the ropes. And they just overcome it. They are this era of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and then Kevin Durant, it will be remembered as one of the greatest NBA runs ever, no doubt.
Yeah. Jump into questions. Again, whatever you guys ask, we'll go through. Open up with alcohol today. It's not really uncommon on our message board, but we'll open up with alcohol. Asking me about bourbon, asking Neal about beer. Although you haven't really had a lot of beer, but we'll still ask the question here.
Well, I mean, I still have my moments, man. You
still got your moments.
I still have my weakness.
Okay. Well,
sometimes
we'll get to top 5 of each is the question, and I'm gonna stay away from unicorns. I mean, the stuff that, hey, if you can find it, it's great. Yeah, duh. Just average bar 5 that you should always have on hand. E.H. Taylor small batch, probably number 1, just to always keep around no matter what. You can find that still. I think Four Roses single barrel probably falls into that thing. If you can get it's getting harder to find by the day, but if you can still find McKenna 10, that is definitely one.
It's awesome
in that area.
But you can't find it anymore.
Yeah, Pick say it won that thing in San Francisco a couple years ago or last year, and since then, it's gotten stupid. I mean, that falls into Blanton's too. Blanton's has almost, it's not a unicorn, but it's got into the much harder to procure just off the shelf standpoint. You're big on the, what is it, the green label? Is that what it is?
Green label.
Evan Williams, isn't that what you like?
Oh yeah, I do like Evan Williams single barrel. For just a day. If you're just having,
that's what I'm talking about. I mean, like I said, stay away from the if you can find. Well, yeah, duh. I mean,
yeah, and I'll be honest.
Hey, if you get William early, that's one. Well, thanks. Yeah, appreciate that, guys.
I don't mind the bourbon whiskey snob. That being said, most people are not pouring from a $500 bottle on a Tuesday night.
And a lot of the pursuit is more in the game of finding it. You know what I mean? It's not even really even it's in the drinking, but it's more in the, hey, I found this or I got this, or just sort of the chase of it in a way is a lot of the fun in that. But yeah, those are a few just off the top of my head. I think that if you're just going to have your bar sitting there and you want, hey, I want some bourbon sitting on the shelf, those are ones. And then, pick a rye, any kind. Frankly, from a cocktail mixing standpoint, it's hard to beat just plain Bullet rye from a mixing standpoint if you're making a cocktail with rye. So that's my things. And then Neal, as of right now, your top 5 beers.
I'm really focused on the Bell's Brewery.
Yeah,
I love Bell's. I love the Two Hearted Ale. I love the Oberon Ale. There's a
Oberon is good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Good. I'm not even a beer guy, and that one's good.
It's really, really good. I mean, it's so good right now that I don't stray from it much. There's a brewery in Huntsville, Alabama, that I can't think of the name of it right now. They make a kind of it's got just a little bit of a hint of orange flavor, and this time of year is really good. But right now, like the Bell's is sort of just my wheelhouse. And then that brewery in Huntsville that I can't think of the name of it right now.
Huntsville?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
And you can get their stuff here?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
Yellowhammer?
Yellowhammer, yep. And I'll let's see, I'm pulling it up now. I'm sure they're going to make me verify my age and stuff.
That might be my favorite online like legality thing. Hey, just put your age in this thing and hit enter. All good. Just move on. Just clearing us in case you do something stupid later. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, it won't even let me get in their site. But
really?
they've got a pale ale that I really like. I'll give the place some free advertising. It's on Jackson. They have a great beer selection on Jackson Avenue. I can't think of the name of it. Isn't that funny? I know where it is. I go in and I buy from them, and I can't think of the name of the place.
Where's it at?
They ought to advertise with us. I should, and it would help if I knew the name of it. It's I can't think of the name of it. They have a great beer selection on Jackson Avenue. Great place. People are really, really nice. They have a lot of drafts on. You can get growlers and stuff. Really cool.
Okay.
Great selection.
Is that Jackson Beer Company?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. On Jackson. Thanks. Good job there.
I was trying.
Yeah.
They have really good selection. They have all that. I hate to send everybody over there because they'll go buy all the Oberon and I won't be able to find it.
Okay.
And I'll get pissed.
Least favorite time of year or event in terms of Rebel Grove? Early August. It is hot. It is trying to balance what is possible and what is realistic from camp coverage versus everyone just being excited for camp. And I'm not complaining. It's good. I'm just saying it's hard sometimes to you have coverage so much. And, I mean, fall camp is the big time of year for us. It's when we get back started. It's go time. But it's really hard to kind of find that sweet spot of balanced, fair coverage that also really has a lot of context and nuance to it versus what it's supposed to be. Because it's so tempting, or not really tempting, but you have so much of the, hey, just bigger, faster, stronger stuff going on that it's like, okay, let's figure out what we see here. Let's figure out where there's depth. Let's try to put some context to this conversation. And sometimes that's hard to do. And also, it's just freaking hot outside. So, yeah, early August.
Well, and years ago,
we were out there every day.
We had total access, and people got, oh, this is awesome. And I can remember thinking, man, we are basically hyping a team that might not win 4 games. And it always bothered me, and frankly, some of the other people that were covering the team were super hyping the team because that's kind of just what they do. Yeah, that is a not frustrating time. It's a challenging time. They want the people that read us want daily stuff. There's no game for 30 days, and it can be frustrating for sure.
I think that's my answer. I don't really have anything else. The rest of the year goes by pretty swimmingly.
Yeah,
it works.
It's Groundhog Day. You know, I mean, it kind of is what it is.
Let's see, one more alcohol question. 107 is better than Weller 12. No, Weller 12 is better than 107. And, yeah, I'll give you each still or small batch over single barrel. I have no problem with that. Let's see. You get to build an MLB team around a player under 25 years old. Who are you taking?
Ooh. Under 20, Ronald Acuna.
That might be the answer, isn't it? Because it's going to be a bat, not a pitcher.
I mean, Shohei Ohtani would be in that thought process. But I think I would take Acuna.
I'm looking to see when this was written. I'm looking for players under 25. I know it's bad pod at the moment.
No, that's all right. I think that's the route I would go. I would take a bat, not an arm.
You would?
Yeah, and I would go with Acuna. God, he's incredible.
How old is Acuna?
He's like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, it's going to be all right.
He's still a baby.
Yeah, okay, this list is outdated. That's what I was checking. Because I was saying like how old like Christian Yelich or somebody is, but he's 27. So,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yelich has been around a little while.
Yeah, that's what I was. But on the list, he was 24. So I was seeing how old my list was.
He's a great player.
That was my.
He is a great player, especially at home, where he knows what's coming.
You stand by that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you really? You really believe it?
His home road splits are so disparate that there's no way that there's not something going on.
It's that batter's eye in Milwaukee. He picks up the ball so well.
Yeah, because
it just fits his eye, really, I think.
Number one. Fastball away. Something's going on.
Would you rather play Augusta or Pebble Beach if it meant you can never play the other?
Pebble Beach.
If you've played either boat, no, I've never played Pebble Beach or Augusta, so that's
You've never been to Pebble Beach.
I've not.
I've been to Pebble Beach.
You would pick Pebble Beach because you don't care about the golf and you get the scenery.
Yes.
You can just walk around and it's all good and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been on the Pebble Beach course a little. It's phenomenal from a scenery standpoint. I get Augusta.
Augusta is the tradition, and it is a great golf course. There's no doubt. Pebble Beach is a more interesting golf course to me.
Yeah, there's the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, and you can play it. It costs
Augusta
$500, but anybody can play it.
Pine trees and azaleas. You get lots of those down here. I can go see azaleas. I can drive around Oxford and see beautiful azaleas. And I grew up in North Louisiana. I can see all the pine trees I could ever see. But you got out there, and it's the ocean and the waves, and it's gorgeous.
Question here from Uncle Trey. Chase, I've been thinking a lot about the college career of Drew Pomeranz. First, how do we get his commitment over all the other options and ever get him to campus via draft? Do you think it's like another player with his skill set will bypass college in the future and make it to campus? Well, yeah, I mean, look, there's kids that make it to campus every year with stuff similar to Drew. He's from Memphis. I mean, he was Doolin's kid. I mean, it was not that crazy at all that he picked Ole Miss. His dad played here.
I think more kids are going to pick college now. It's becoming far more popular for the elite kid to pick college.
I don't know the numbers, but it was basically of the first how many ever picks in the draft, like 150 or something. It's like 68% college kids.
And now the pressure is on college coaches
to
protect arms.
Yeah.
Period. Because if you wreck one, you're done. Especially if it's viewed that you wrecked it abusively.
Mike Fox at North Carolina would not be able to survive today what he survived 10 years ago.
Agreed.
From a pitcher standpoint.
Agreed.
There's no doubt. Now, look, is Keith Law overly obnoxious? Yes. But those type of things do bring more publicity to the issues when they happen.
Yeah.
And
Tim
Corbin's got to be careful with Kumar Rocker for 2 more years.
And he has been so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was part of the deal.
JT Ginn, Gunnar Hoagland, they have not been pressed.
No, and that was one of the things that frustrated me over the weekend. And I'm not picking on fans here because I get it. When fans say, "Why, if he was a first-round pick, why is he not dominant?" Because again, and this is so critical for you to understand this as a baseball fan, the Major League Baseball teams don't select a kid in the first round and say it's not like the NFL or the NBA, where you take a kid and go, "Okay, this guy steps in and he helps us now." I don't give a damn. Pittsburgh didn't take Gunnar Hoagland to step in and pitch in their rotation. They took Gunnar Hoagland hoping that he would start off in rookie ball, take his time. They'd shut him down early. They'd bring him to spring training the next year, send him to low A, put him on a very limited pitch count, work with him on mechanics and some stuff, let him develop, with the hope that in 4 years or so he was in their rotation as a 23-year-old, a cheap 23-year-old. That was the plan. They weren't worried about what happened next year at all. In fact, had Pittsburgh taken him and he pitched in the Pirates organization this year, he'd be somewhere in A-ball, basically not allowed to look at his statistics other than maybe walk rate. They would be looking at things like walk rate, spin rate, what's your ground ball results. They wouldn't be worried about wins and losses or ERA at all.
Pittsburgh, from a pitching standpoint, is one of the main franchises to look at. I mean, major projection. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Even more so than other clubs. They saw a kid with really good pitchability. 70 command.
Yeah.
And they saw what they believed to be a breaking ball that could get better.
Yeah.
And he had enough velocity. He was 94, 95 most of his senior year.
Big kid, going to grow, going to develop, going to get stronger.
Good athlete, two-way player.
Yeah, that's what they saw. They saw
said, hey, we can get him here at 40 and we see what happens.
Yeah. Had nothing to do, but they never thought, hey, what could he do for us next year? That wasn't even part of the equation. So.
He would be sitting in an A somewhere working on a breaking ball right now is what he'd be doing.
He'd be pitching low A.
Yeah.
He'd be on a 70-pitch count. They'd go get him at 70 pitches, even if that was fourth inning, 2 outs, 1-2 count. They'd go get him. It's minor league baseball. They're not concerned about the scoreboard. They would be working on, like you said, working on a breaking ball, working on something. Each couple of games, you're working on something different.
Last thing on Drew, I really do wish Drew had been 1 year younger simply to be able to pitch against the BB Core bats. Because his entire career was against the old bats. I'd like to see him the next year against the BB Core.
He was a badass.
Yeah. 1 vote shy of winning the Golden Spikes.
Harper won it.
Harper won it by 1 vote.
Yeah.
Because you had there's a lot of people that thought, well, I'm just not going to vote for a JUCO player.
Right.
And then I think it was like 27 to 26 or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, but
he was an amazing player. I mean, we joke about it all the time. His presence on the mound, it was really funny almost. It was so dominant.
Yeah. Well, I'll take a break here to tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga, one of the oldest mortgage companies in the Southeast, and all underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float-down option. So you can lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Guest joined us this week on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law, real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you're going to speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who handles your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If you think you have a legal issue, if you just have kind of something you want to explore, you want to find out whether it's worth pursuing, whatever the case may be, get in touch with these guys. John Calvin Patterson, Wes Earhart, tell them you heard about it on the podcast. That initial consultation is going to be free, and they will help you, 662-526-1992. Or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. Father's Day is upon us. It's that day when you're appreciated with some underwear that belongs back in the 80s, some wacky, tacky ties, uncomfortable socks. You smile and you nod in appreciation or look for a way to sneak away to watch your favorite sporting event or sip on your favorite beverage. I know socks aren't the sexiest of gifts, but why should you sacrifice style and comfort if you know the inevitable is coming? So tell your wife or your girlfriend to log into deadsoxy.com and order the Father's Day gift his feet will love. Dead Soxy has lowered the collegiate line down to $17.50 while supplies last, so go to deadsoxy.com. Enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout for 30% off, and happy Father's Day from the people at Dead Soxy. You don't want to miss 1 minute of the action at the Vault this season as Ole Miss football arrives this September. Reserve your season tickets with the new 2019 season ticket pricing for just $299. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. And the podcast brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. It represents clients in more than 20 states and has advisors in 3 states. What Pinnacle Trust does is they provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan that is built just for you. It's pintrust.com, P-I-N-N trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee.
I'm just seeing this. Kind of wish I'd taken a second to think about it. Saw it last night. Is there a game you wished Ole Miss had won or lost because of the way it may have affected your personal schedule positively or negatively? Let's see. Had a really good time in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. Let's see. 'Cause usually bowl trips kind of suck. That one was actually kind of fun. Usually bowl trips suck.
Yeah.
You're there a long time.
Yeah.
There's not much going on. Cover practices the team may or may not care about being at. Usually not.
Yeah, usually a lot of sitting around waiting.
I mean, your Auburn NCAA basketball is your best thing here, not because Ole Miss related. You're at a little different stage of life.
Yeah, I was a totally different stage of life. Yeah, I mean, the one that was fun was the Albany trip where Charles Goldberg looked over at me because we were both really fast riders, and back then I was super fast, man. I could fly, and we looked at each other. It was like 1:00 in the afternoon. He's like, "You done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." And Auburn didn't play until the next night at 8-something. And it wasn't like it is now where all the young guys sit around and come up with 4,000 tweets and stuff all day long because they just almost kind of geeky in their coverage, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
It's borderline obnoxious. We were done. He goes, "You want to go to New York?" Sure. Hopped on the train and went. That was fun.
The question also we got in here that kind of dovetails with this. Chase said, how much you enjoy covering college baseball? I think everyone would agree, blah, blah, blah. However, given the fact that you're normally on the go, basically starting with fall camp, is there any sense of relief for you when Ole Miss baseball season concludes? Neil, feel free to answer as regards to basketball. I'm trying to phrase this correctly.
Relief's probably not the right word.
I know the job. The job is fine. I'm not digging ditches. Happy to have the job I have. In 14, I can kind of put it this way. In 14, when Ole Miss went to the College World Series, I had never covered the College World Series. I wanted to go. As a college baseball person, that was something that I wanted to go and experience and do. Carly Ann wasn't born at that point. Family obligations were different. It's just, and look, anybody who travels to any extent gets this. This is not just media members or sports writers. But Omaha is such a different bird because you don't have a finite ending. When you leave, you don't know if you're there 4 nights. You don't know if you're there 14 nights. And from a family and just personal situation, that gets tough sometimes on spouses and kids and different things on, okay, well, how quick you got to be there, when are you going to go? So there is some different elements to that as it pertains to, it's not relief, but Omaha is very difficult at this stage of my life from the standpoint of not knowing how long I'm going to be there. And it's something where, you get into not arguments or anything, but you do, hey, if they win or whatever, it's like, I get you're frustrated. I don't play. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is, and everybody gets that. I mean, you know what you're signing up into, but no, it's where, we're just like players aren't robots. We aren't either. So there are some family and personal things that do tie into our schedules from time to time.
Oh, dirty little secret. Every journalist who's not a super homer covering NCAA tournament type stuff, it's not that you're cheering for the team that you not cover, but you go into it with for example, when Ole Miss was in Columbia, I was ready to get the hell out of there. Had they won, I would have been fine. But I got up that morning and packed my stuff.
Yeah, I was not rooting against Thomas Dillard or Greg Kessinger the other day whatsoever. I like those people. I did, however, check out of the hotel and go, hey, just in case, getting at least out of Fayetteville tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I walked back to the hotel, threw my stuff in the truck, and was gone.
Every time they played an elimination game, you just check out of the hotel, and then you wait, and if they win, you go find another hotel, and you check back in, and you do that over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. It's just it's one of those things. If the team that you cover wins, you go, okay, well, I'm covering a bigger game now.
Yeah.
But if they lose, I'm cool with it. I mean, frankly, that's the way it is. I mean, the only people that are upset are the homers. And there's a lot of them on different beats. And the other thing is, not to get on the homer thing, but if you're covering the tournament, if you're a massive fan and your team loses, you can't do your job there in the immediate aftermath. Because you got to go talk to the people that just lost. You got to provide context right away. And if you're all emotional, you can't do it.
There is not a, oh my gosh, this is the hard part of our jobs, but it does suck talking to those kids on the day that it all ends. That's the worst day of the year. It sucks. You're asking them about stuff they don't want to talk about. You're asking them questions that, frankly, they don't have answers for yet, if you want to know the honest truth. I mean, that's what Mike, he did a good job the other day, but he kept going, hey, it's so new. Ask me next week. I don't know. I need a minute right now to phrase that. And you get it. I understand what he means by that.
He's human.
Yeah. We've been done 10 minutes.
He woke up that morning going, hey, we're 1 win away from Omaha.
Yeah.
And now, not only are we not going to Omaha, but these kids.
My time with these kids is over.
It's over. That's always the part that hits you. Is if you've ever played on a team, you know that the moment that your season ends, the dynamic is gone. Like even today for the Blues, they're champions. The Raptors, they're champions.
The whole team's not back next year.
The feeling that they'll have today, while euphoric, is also sort of melancholy because it's over. That team will that assemblage will never be the same again. So, when you ask a coach, we'll put this into context. It just ended. I can't. That's the one people. I tell you the one thing that bugs me. It's not, and I get it. We don't dig ditches. I'm not complaining. When are you guys going to ask the tough question? I never know what that means precisely. Like, hey, coach, do you think you should be fired today? And I've asked that question. Do you think this is going to cost your job? Frankly, I don't like asking those questions in group settings for two reasons. One, I become the story the way that media is now. And two, I'm doing everybody else's dirty work. I told Andy Kennedy that. I don't regret asking the question. I regret asking the question in that venue. I wish I'd pulled him out into the hall and said, hey, I've talked to some people and they've said this. And as of this moment, do you think your job's in jeopardy? Now, he would have still been pissed off, but it wouldn't have been a public thing.
Yeah. Staying with baseball, question. What story on Lafferty does he have aspirations to run his own shows? He had any looks from other schools or content here in Oxford? Content, definitely. I know he's had some other job opportunities. I'm not sure exactly what. He makes lists every year as top assistant coaches and things along those lines, but they're pretty settled here. I think it would take the right situation, and I think that, as long as administratively and Mike and everything's kind of going as it is, though, I think there's probably some happiness and contentment there for him. But it's hard for me to really answer that question about somebody else. Let's see, Chaser. Let's see. Curious about your opinion on something. Why do you think MSU has had so much postseason success the last 4 consecutive years with 4 different coaches? It's simply the foundation of system that Cohen built before becoming AD, type of player system that they recruit to, or luck or coincidence? A little bit of everything. They've been lucky at times. I mean, last year against Florida State, that was luck. You lose the opener, Florida State brings a pitcher back. You take advantage of the situation. That's not luck, but it's luck to get into that situation as it is anyway. They play as loose as anyone in the country when it comes down to the postseason, and they beat teams who play tight because they do not play tight. I think if you look, all the SEC teams are talented. Everybody's talented. It's not about talent. Vanderbilt is about talent, but in the middle, it's not about talent. They play loose. They take advantage of every opportunity that you give them in the postseason, and they expect to win. And that's Cooper Johnson talked about it. I think I put it in one of the stories I wrote a couple weeks ago. And he said, even on his own team, on opposing teams, said he could look around the field and see the guys who really expected to win, guys who, hey, I'm doing all the actions to say I expect to win, but you see them scared to death.
Sure.
I said, you can't. Maybe it is the type of kid you recruit. Maybe it is a lot of things. I don't know how you do, because that's what I said. I said, can you will that out of people? And he's like, maybe, but not really. You either have it or you don't.
I think you either have that alpha thing or you don't.
And look,
you're either,
I know I'm giving credit here to one, because look, all those coaches. Gary Henderson did a hell of a job with that group because they went through all that Cannizzaro crap,
yeah.
And holding that group together was a hell of a job. Jake Mangum is what made them go the last 4 years.
Yeah,
he gave them belief that by God we're winning the game today.
Yeah, and he's just that kind of kid, and it's infectious. Things the difference on the Raptors. DeMar DeRozan's a hell of a good basketball player. But he's not like Kawhi Leonard. And not just from a talent standpoint. Kawhi Leonard's that dude that he shows up. 2 things. 1, he thinks he's going to win. And 2, he really doesn't care if he doesn't.
What do you mean?
Just that. I'm going to go bust my ass. I'm going to play super hard. I'm going to demand it of my teammates. I'm going to give everything I've got. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll try again the next time. Loose. Kawhi Leonard wasn't tight last night, late in that game. And it's infectious because the Raptors the last few years got tight in the playoffs. This year, after they blew Game 5 at home, they still chilled, rolled with it, got it done. It's a difference in mentality. Nick Nurse, as a head coach, was a different cat. He sits in at every pregame when he talks to his guys. He's wearing his ball cap with his own initials on it. And Just a different kind of dude. And I don't know that you can make those kind of people. I think those kind of people are sort of born, and you have to go find them. But give Ole Miss some credit this year. They had every reason late in the year to get super-duper tight and freak out and cost them, and they didn't. They settled down. They won. They won in Hoover. They won a regional, and they didn't lose the other day because of being tight. That wasn't it.
Not even a little bit. That had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it at all.
They played loose. They were fine. Let's see. Speaking of Nick Nurse, did you see the Ringer story on the Iowa reporter that was doing the NBA Finals? He was just on the Nick Nurse beat.
Oh no!
It's like wherever Nurse is from, they the little local paper sent a dude, and he was just covering Nick Nurse. So you've got like New York Times, ESPN, or whatever, and it's like the Carroll Times Herald.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Somewhere in Iowa, and the Ringer did a big story on the guy who's just driving and doing, and yeah, he's
they sent
covering Nick Nurse.
That's fantastic. There was a picture today I saw of 30 years ago, Nick Nurse with the ball at a college game being guarded by Tony Bennett. 30 years later, both men win a title at the top of their sports within a couple months of one another. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it leads with – in the NBA Finals, coaches often find themselves answering to reporters they've never met. Take the curly-haired reporter who asked Steve Kerr a question after Game 5. Steve, the man said, introducing himself with a microphone. Brandon Hurley with the Carroll Times Herald. Carroll, Iowa is the 10,000-resident hometown of Raptors coach Nick Nurse. Hurley is one of the Times Herald's 2 sports writers. The paper doesn't cover many international events, but Hurley convinced his editor to let him hop in his Honda Civic and drive 14 hours to Toronto. Hurley felt he had to. No member of the NBA press corps had been working the Nurse story as hard as he has, but this season few writers knew there was a Nurse story. You can basically call me the Nick Nurse beat reporter, Hurley said. And he covered the NBA Finals.
So he drove from Iowa to Toronto.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it says, when I called Hurley on Wednesday afternoon, I thought he would be back at his desk in Iowa. He was still in Toronto. If the Raptors win Game 6, he's planning to write a piece for the Times Herald about the victory celebration. If they don't, Hurley said, I'll try to get another Airbnb and stay for Game 7.
Wow.
So he went to Toronto, didn't go Game 6, but was there for 5 and waited just in case. He'd either get him on the way back home or for Game 7.
So he'll get him when they come back for the parade and stuff. Yeah. Hopefully Nick Nurse will respect that and give the guy 30 minutes.
Oh, whatever he wants. Like, come on.
Your mama's reading this, Nick.
Yeah. But, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, good foresight. I mean, local. Fine. I mean, it's a huge deal in Carroll, Iowa.
Absolutely.
That's good. Good. That's good.
It's you and I talk about this all the time, and I don't want to attack the local paper, but all local papers, when you're doing stuff that the reader can get in 400 other places, you're wasting your time. Like if I'm working at the Oxford Eagle, we're not spending a lot of time on Ole Miss sports. They can get that if they're interested in Ole Miss sports, they're going to get it elsewhere. I'm covering the heck out of the high schools. I'm covering the heck out of the city government.
And every human interest story I can find of people from around here.
Like this police thing going on right now, man, I am chasing it. I am chasing it to the point that people are threatening me. I'm selling that. And yeah, I said selling.
Any idea on game days if Rich Rod and Mack are in the box or on the sidelines? I'm assuming Rich Rodriguez is on the field. I'd almost guarantee that.
I think he's going to be on the field. Don't hold me to this. I've heard that McIntyre might be up in the box.
Really?
But I don't know.
We're all guessing.
It's a good question. We'll ask later. A lot of times the coaches want to be able to talk to the kids in face-to-face, but if you're on the field, you have to make sure that the eyes that are – and Rodriguez has this because he's brought a bunch of people with him. You have to make sure that the eyes in the press box
are trustworthy,
are eyes that you have trained because they have to see it the way you would see it if you were there, and if they can't, then you've got to get your butt up there.
Yeah. That's a good point. There's another level to that other than I need to be on the field.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody on the box.
I'd like to be on the field, but I've got to see what I need to see. And if I have somebody who can see it the way I would see it and can relay it to me quickly in my language, well, then great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I got to get up there.
Yeah. Please give us an address or email we can use to voice our complaints over the link to the chancellor search process. I just read IHL is holding a listening session in September. Bitter's been out since December. There's absolutely no reason why it should take this long. I did look it up. You can direct all inquiries
to Ben Craddock.
to questions at mississippi.edu is the address.
It's ben.craddock@gmail.com.
I did see that. I mean, got to wait till September for a listener session?
Chase, I mean, listen. This is not directed at you or the poster or anyone else. Does no one believe what I write when I write it? I told you this thing was not going to happen until late this year.
I know
and
that.
It might not happen until early next year.
I've been told that 100 times, and I still get baffled at every step along the way. At some point, that's on me.
At some point, that is on you. At some point, you have to go, okay, well, man, it's insane.
Look,
but
this is not about, I mean, again, the people on the committee, I like a lot of them, frankly. Happy for Ben, Markiva, all those guys.
Sure. Smart
you can't
people.
Get 39 people to agree about what toothpaste to buy at the store. Nevertheless, the committee is too big. 39?
Well, it's no question it's too big. It's way too big. There's no way that – I mean, it's like Congress. When they go debate on the floor, it's like, yeah, no one's even listening anymore. I mean – and you're right. There are a lot of really smart –
Yeah, this is not a criticism
not a critique
of
the people. There's just too many of the people. So how are you going to – and then the way it's set up apparently is a couple of people are going to go – they're going to – the 39 are going to talk. And then 2 are charged with taking what the 39 said and condensing it into something that's relayable. How's that work?
And then conducting interviews.
I mean, how's that work?
It feels like a 2-person committee in a way. I mean, that's at least fair to opine about.
I hope I'm wrong when I say this.
Okay.
But it feels like a lot of people just got their butt kissed. Hey, I know you matter. You're important.
Well, and there's going to be 5 to 10 that take charge in a room of 39. I mean,
but do those 5 or 10 really have the say?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I don't know. But it's going to look. I grew up in a house of higher education. My dad was in higher education. Nothing in higher education gets done quickly. It's like dealing with a corporation. Nothing gets done quickly. You got to have a committee and a subcommittee and then another committee and then a review committee, and then you got to interview 14 people, and you got to make sure that you cover your basis with did you discriminate? Did you look across the board? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Then you have to have another review, and it might take forever. If you told me they did not have a chancellor in place on Christmas Day, I would completely buy it.
Yeah,
not even a shred of surprise.
My over/under would be November 15th.
I'd go over.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Just my guess. That's why when people do all the Matt Luke stuff, is Matt Luke going to be fired and all that stuff? Number one, I don't think they're going to be bad enough that would justify the firing. Number two, I don't think you're going to be able to turn something around that fast. And then number three, we're hopping on another subject, but this bears repeating. The money doesn't grow on trees. And Matt Luke would have absolutely no incentive to negotiate. I saw someone say, negotiate a buyout. Not negotiating jack. I want 100% of my buyout.
Yeah. We'll continue this conversation in 1 second. First, tell you about G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. Deliver local to your home or workplace. They provide MedSync to take care of the scheduling of your medicine. They give it to you when you need it, and you know it's going to be on time and in the right quantities every single time. 662-236-2222. And when you give them a call, check out their CBD oil. They offer it in multiple different forms. There are no hallucinogenic effects or anything like that, no crazy side effects. It's from hemp, not marijuana, completely legal in all states, and FDA approved. So you can find out more about CBD and find out more about G&M. 662-236-2222.
Running out of time here, but you still have time. Father's Day's coming up on Sunday. It's the perfect time to break the monotony of boring Father's Day gifts with a pair of Mississippi-made Blue Delta jeans. Don't get Dad another tie. Get him a pair of jeans that you know he'll love. You probably can't get him in the studio in time to make this happen, or at least where they could turn it around. You could get him in there today or tomorrow for a fitting. But if you live away and you can't get to Oxford in the next 48 hours, Send an email to info@bluedeltajeans.com. Purchase a gift card. Blue Delta will get it to Dad for his big day. And speaking of coming to Oxford, Ole Miss orientation's in full swing this month. If you're coming to town, this is the perfect time to drop in the studio, check out Blue Delta's raw denim and Holland and Sherry fabrics, as well as the new spring-summer collection and their new tactical camo pants. You don't want to be the parents wearing poorly fitting jeans at orientation. You want to look good for your kid. You're helping make a first impression as well, and there's no better way to do that than Blue Delta Jeans. Again, info@bluedeltajeans.com. Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. They are the sponsor of my mailbag, which I published yesterday at some point. You can visit the Westin Jackson. They asked me, in fact, in my mailbag, the Westin Jackson asked me if I was, I think, bold enough for a spa day. And I was like, yeah, of course. I'm cool with that.
Sure.
If they want me to go to Soul Spa, I'd love to go to Soul Spa. You should too. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. You can indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. And then you can head over to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight. The podcast also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You guys know the drill by now. If you're thinking about traveling this summer, the holidays, whatever, get in touch with John. At least get a quote from him. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that simply aren't available to regular travelers. You're not going to find these things on your own. He'll find you options that you can't find. And all you have to do is give him a call, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you the aforementioned options, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. What you need is a phone number or a computer. 901-494-3387. J. Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also sponsored by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy Grass that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's a big part of Savannah Square, which is a new 9-acre development 7/10 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It's conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center and all of those restaurants and establishments that are there. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 standalone detached structures ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to 2,400 square feet. You can look at the model home at 215 William Street. These homes have wonderful layouts, impeccable finishes. You can see them at the model. And then get in touch with Harry. Go to SavannahSquareOxford.com or give Harry Alexander a call or text at 662-801-5621.
Is there an update on alcohol sales in Vaught Hemingway this fall? I talked to Keith Carter about it the Sunday of the regional, I believe is the day of that. He said that obviously a lot has been implemented already to that point, that they were going to discuss it. He was being careful. I think they're going to proceed. That is just kind of my guess. I know they were going to proceed when Ross Bjork was the athletic director. Ross had basically put everything in place for that to be the case as soon as possible, and I saw A&M was the very first school to go ahead and say they're selling it. So I think Ross had his druthers one side or the other pretty quickly. I would be shocked. They've got to make sure they're clear of all these stupid state laws, and I think they are, but that is part of this. I think they're okay. But if there's a hang-up, it feels like it's coming there. Huh?
I'm just resisting the urge.
Okay. I think it's fine, but I'm just saying that's if there's a hang-up, that's probably where it is, and I don't know that.
The schools that are using this as a way to show that they're morally superior to others, I'm quickly eliminating them from my kids' available schools to go to.
Getting marked off the list.
Auburn out.
Oh, yeah, they did that, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just not the way we are. Stop. It's stupid. If it's such a danger, then why does every professional franchise do it?
It's easier to monitor than the other way.
It makes for a more sober stadium. I mean, do you want people that are having a draft beer? I mean, it's Coors Light or Bud Light or Miller Lite, for God's sake. Would you rather than be drinking that or have some
funneling bourbon down their
23-year-old kid pouring a
Everclear into
16 pour of Everclear into some Sprite on a 94-degree day? Which guy do you think's going to hold up better over time? My money's on the Bud Light guy.
Yeah. It's going to have 2 or 3 buds and a hot dog. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. He might have a little
buzz.
But he's not going to be 3 sheets.
Yeah. The Everclear guy's got to be 3 sheets.
Dangerous.
Yeah. No doubt. All the way around. So, yeah, I think they're in good shape. I know they have resort status for Rod Hemingway. I know a lot of stuff had been implemented to this point. So
a school like Ole Miss, I just think you have to. I mean, and again, there's no doubt in my mind that if it doesn't happen, it's because of some crazy law in Jackson.
But Ole Miss is close to falling in that category, like when Ross Dellinger put them all in order. Then he put these are still determining it was LSU, and then he put an asterisk beside it. And then down at the bottom, he put asterisk ... LOL.
Come on, man. It's a revenue stream.
Yeah. I think Georgia's holding off this year except for like one specific area or something.
Yeah, they're worried about something about premium seating and all that BS.
The way Ole Miss would do it, if it happens here, is premium seating does not change from a locker system standpoint. And then general admission, grandstands, all that's non-premium areas would get the beer kiosk.
The common folk could go buy
the cap and T-shirt crowd is what one AD once said, right? That's
could go buy a Bud Light, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if they have it, I'm going down and buying a Bud Light by third quarter.
I think that's frowned upon.
I don't care.
Tulane was more than cool with it last couple months ago. I know you're shocked by that. They didn't really care what I did or did not do.
I mean,
because you had to walk. The bathrooms at Turchin Stadium for Tulane it's like a level below the press box, and you're just walking across all these alcohol kiosks, and you're like, well, I mean, when in Rome,
no doubt.
It's like okay.
So, I mean, you telling me I can't go get a Miller Lite? Come on, that's going to affect what I write or say?
Yeah.
Stop.
You're going to get shushed even more.
Shh. Yeah. I'm in a press box where first there's 50 people that don't belong in here, and then there's a bunch of fans. You're worried about me having a beer?
Oh,
I will be curious if they try to enforce like a rule or something. I'll be like, come on.
I wouldn't be shocked. Let's see. Who's your starting 9 in lineup for Ole Miss 2020? I'm not even trying a batting order. And this will be an actual content item, probably Monday or Tuesday. I always do this every year, but Hayden Dunhurst or Knox LaPosser is going to play catcher. Let's see what Dunhurst looks like when he gets to campus. Obviously, a very highly rated recruit prospect, and just having the two of them, as I mentioned this multiple times, it's so big for competition purposes. We don't have one guy who just knows he's the guy. So getting some competition there. Knox could play some other positions as well, as I think. Kevin Graham's going to play first base. I think Justin Bench can play second. I think Answers Video is going to slide over to short. Keenan's back at third. And then from the outfield, let's see. Do you convert Connor Walsh into an outfielder? He's the highest rated kid in the class that is an infielder, but he could play outfield probably. But, is Tim Elko going to hit and play outfield? What do you get out of Hayden Leatherwood, the JUCO kid? Does Kel Baker play DH? Kel Baker led the country in batting average and home runs as a JUCO kid. Is he ready? Because sometimes those JUCO kids are really ready, and sometimes those JUCO kids look like high school or college freshmen. So, what is he going to look like? Now he's previously been at Cincinnati, so I got a feeling he's a little farther along than maybe some other guys would be. But no, those are off the top of my head. Pitching is the thing that I'm really interested in because they do have some arms, but what do you do with the order of them? Because had Houston Roth come back, and Houston still has not decided, but I'm just going to operate under the assumption that he's gone. If he's not, then great, and you answered your own question.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's not really hey, this guy moves into role, because I get Nikhazy probably does it as he has to, but I would be so tempted to leave Doug on Saturdays. He's so good in that spot, and I would try to go 8-2 on Saturdays and just find 8 more somewhere else. That's what I would do. I get that maybe that makes for a weird Friday, but to me, Nikhazy Saturday, Hoagland Sunday gives you such a good opportunity on those 2 days that Roth would have fixed. Look, if they're going to move Nikhazy up to Friday, maybe Austin Miller jumps into a starting rotation spot. It wouldn't shock me if he could lengthen out a little bit and be a starter. They've got to get Caleb Hill developed, the freshman left-hander from Pine Bluff. He didn't throw a lot this year. He's got really good stuff. There's a lot of projection there. He needs a good summer. He needs a good fall. Frankly, they need to be able to find a way to get him into some semblance of a role next season.
Couldn't they just call Tim Corbin and go, hey, could we have your 7th guy? We'll pitch him on Friday.
Tim's probably got a 7th guy.
Probably does.
Throws 97, 98.
Yeah.
Hoover special, Saturday afternoon. Vanderbilt brings in a guy. He's thrown 4 innings all year. First pitch, 98 miles an hour. There you go.
Outside corner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody with the press box goes, yeah, you don't know him now, but you will next year. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That's good. Then you have freshmen like Kumar Rocker, who they pitch immediately. I want him.
He's so good.
I mentioned this yesterday. Speaking of Kumar, we're going to talk about it, and we just kind of ran out of time. That's why I said today. Not Terry Price, that's the other one. Tracy Rocker, he was on with, I think it was JOX out of Birmingham. I don't know what show it was on. Might have been Ryan Brown, might not have been Ryan Brown.
Probably.
And he was discussing just whatever. I'm sorry, Jeremy Pruitt was on, not
Okay.
Tracy Rocker. I'm all over the place, but whatever, it's fine. And he was discussing that the other night, on Saturday night, while Kumar was pitching, they had a bunch of recruits in town. They got a couple commitments, and they were at a meeting or at dinner or whatever, and Tracy had his phone below the table and was kind of trying to subtly watch the game and talk to the recruits or whatever, and Pruitt finally was like, hey, what's up? And said all Tracy said was, he's pitching, and that was it. And it was like, well, yeah, he's pitching all right. And Jeremy said he didn't realize what happened until he got home later and saw the end of the game and whatever, but Tracy did not go to Nashville. He was in Knoxville with recruits and different things, and that's kind of like us. That's part of the job. It is what it is. And they had asked Tracy, he said, hey, what are you going to do from Omaha standpoint? And he goes, well, it just kind of depends. And Pruitt did at least step in and go, no, you're going to Omaha when your kid pitches. I don't care what's going around here. Get there. So they're trying to work through that. But
it's probably
such a proud moment, but then not able to be there. That does suck for Tracy
I'm
Rocker.
sure it sucked.
Like I saw, they showed his mom in the stands multiple times. And she had some family around her, I'm assuming, but she was crying in the stands and everything. Just thought that's just a huge moment that he's not at. Like I sort of got down a little bit when I saw it. I was sort of like, shit.
Sure.
So
He was doing his job.
Yeah.
But your son's throwing a no-hitter in a super regional, and
yeah,
I'm sure that your mind and heart and soul are elsewhere. Not on the kid from wherever that you're trying to get to commit to the Big Orange Nation.
Is Chris Howard on Ole Miss' Chancellor hot board? I have zero idea. I heard his name right at the beginning.
Who's he?
He used to be at Oklahoma. He's got a military history. He's up in Virginia or somewhere over there. Sorry, I'm a little confused at the moment, but somewhere over there.
That's more than I could have told you.
You couldn't get that far?
Nope.
Hold on. Christopher Howard.
I would have said Ron's brother.
I think I'm right here. If I'm wrong, then I'm just never mind. Yeah, Robert Morris. He's the president of Robert Morris right now. I don't really necessarily know why he popped up. He might have a history somewhere that I'm not aware of, but
there's such a political battle that's brewing here. My opinion. I can't support that with fact. Just things I hear. I don't know who's a realistic candidate and who is not. I couldn't begin to tell you.
It appears he's also on the college football selection committee. I did not know that.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I was not aware of that. But he was the associate vice president for strategic and leadership initiatives, and then vice president overall with the University of Oklahoma. He's been in the Air Force. Let's see. He has degrees from Harvard and Oxford and the United States Air Force Academy.
I mean, it's not ULM, but it's good.
I mean,
strong.
It's not a resume that would throw you out. Probably at least get into the pile.
No.
I think HR would approve it. So that's.
Harvard hadn't won many water skiing titles. I'll tell you that.
They've won a lot of crew titles. Does that count?
It's competitive.
Okay. Who's the biggest on this buzz for baseball, football? I'm not going to do buzz because I'm not calling a kid out. I will say that if I could rewrite one play of anyone I ever covered. I would love to have seen the career that Tim Simon may have had.
That's fair.
Gets hurt on the very first play on kickoff, non-contact, and his career's over right there. I would love to. He was such an athletic kid. I'd like to have seen his career.
I enjoyed watching D.T. Shackelford play. It would have been fun to see him not get hurt.
CJ not get hurt.
Laquan not get hurt.
Oh, Quan, different dude after he got hurt.
CJ for sure, though.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people.
Yeah, no doubt.
That I've covered, and by the end, he was just a shell athletically of what he could have been and would have been. I think he would admit that. Still played his ass off, but he wasn't the same dude. That's why every time you see a guy get hurt, like Klay Thompson last night, you wonder, so is that the best Klay? We'll never see great Klay again? Like the Durant stuff. Is Kevin Durant ever going to be?
In the ACL, not as much, but Achilles.
Is Kevin Durant ever going to be what Kevin Durant once was? Just don't know. It's that whole thing of enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah.
Enjoy watching it while it's there because it's not guaranteed, all that stuff. There's like a life lesson in there somewhere. Live each day, all that stuff.
Platitude.
A lot of that, yeah.
Okay. Ole Miss did not offer Jannard Avery and Darrell Henderson. Why, Mr. McCready?
They didn't offer Jannard Avery because he didn't have enough stars. Hugh Freeze did not offer Jannard Avery, despite the person recruiting Jannard Avery begging Hugh Freeze to offer Jannard Avery. Begging. Informing him that it is a mistake to not offer Jannard Avery. I was pretty close to this one. Jannard Avery would have crawled on broken glass from Grenada to Oxford to sign his NLI. Now, by the time he got there, he would have had so many cuts that he might not have been worth it. But he would have done it. He waited until literally the end for that offer. And it didn't come because that head coach star chased. He just did. That's the answer. Henderson, I don't know. I've heard different things. I think it was some of the same stuff, and then I think there were some academic concerns with him. There was no academic concern with Jannard Avery. That was really the biggest miss. And I hear people say, well, State didn't offer him. It's true. They didn't. But the kid thought about walking on. Damn near transferred to walk on. Really wanted to go. That was a miss. A bad miss. Really bad miss. It's the people that I come across like I'm slamming Freeze here, and I'm not trying to. But if you go back and look at that 13 class, for example, that got all the attention that day, A, there were a lot of misses in that class that they signed, and B, they lost a lot of recruits. Lost Peyton Barber at the end because of something that got reported.
Elijah Daniel.
Yeah, lost Elijah Daniel late.
Mm-hmm.
Lost good players late.
Just off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, in that class.
Better, let's see, where's it at? Here we go. Better party with friends holiday cooking setting, Super Bowl or 4th of July?
Probably 4th of July, because you're not as Super Bowl, everybody's watching the game or whatever. I don't know.
Even though it's just like squares, usually you get a little gambling element with Super Bowl, which is
That's
nice. You get that.
4th of July, you get like a little more laid back, people around the pool and stuff. It can be so hot that it's miserable.
Yeah. Because both days are usually the same kind of food. I mean, you're usually going to smoke some meat and it's burgers and hot dogs and Alps and stuff. Since Super Bowl's at night, you might get into the hard liquor a little more than you might 4th of July at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's assuming you're off the day after for both, by the way. That is not playing into the...
It's part of the Super Bowl problem is that a lot of people...
It should be a national holiday the next day. No one should have to work till 12 the next day.
They should play it on Saturday.
Well, that too. But then it wouldn't be Super Bowl Sunday.
It would be Super Bowl Saturday. It would be fine. It would still be the Super Bowl. You could play it on Saturday night, and everybody could recover on Sunday. And then Monday, people could get up and go to work.
What would we do on Sunday, though?
Recover.
They play basketball on Sunday. Make it their day. We'll watch them play basketball.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
You literally could get the college basketball season to shut down for a day. You could get everybody. Nobody would compete with it. I mean, the NBA on Super Bowl Sunday, they play their games like at 11 a.m. No one's like, hey, we're going to compete with the Super Bowl. No one does that, and they wouldn't do it on Saturday either.
What do you say with the Pelicans franchise after dropping Zion and then the upcoming Anthony Davis deal?
They're going to trade him. I don't know what they're going to get for him. They're going to deal him. They're going to draft Zion and sell a bunch of Zion jerseys. And then they're probably going to get a package, I'm guessing, from the Lakers that will include Brandon Ingram, maybe Lonzo Ball, probably the fourth pick that they might turn and ship to somebody else for another player. I don't know. New Orleans will be – that roster will look a lot different in 2 weeks than it does right now, that's for sure. 1 week. The draft is Thursday,
next
week. Yeah.
Podcast brought to you in part by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape. Provide premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but offer a lot more as well. Custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces, paver patios, forestry mulching, and more. The path to your dream backyard, easier than you think. Visit them online at gomastercuts.com for a free quote, or give them a call for that same free quote at 662-607-7773. Again, gomastercuts.com.
The 2019 youth soccer season just around the corner in Oxford. Registration has started for the 2019 fall season in the Oxford Park Commission. It will continue through July the 7th. Leagues are open for birth years 2015 to 2004. Can you believe kids born in 2015 will be playing soccer? God, I'm getting old, man. Anyway, this year's season opener will be August the 19th. The cost to take part is just $50 per player. This isn't part of the reader. All of my kids played in OPC soccer. They play out at F&C Park, and the fields are awesome. And it's a really great program. If you live in or around Oxford, you should let your kid participate. You'll be glad. It's oxfordparkcommission.com for more details. The podcast is also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person. There's no 10 buttons to push. There's no 5-minute wait. What you get is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured and brought to you by 7 South Tailgating. 7 South offers packages for any budget, any party size, any number of games needed, whether you're coming to one game, all 7, or somewhere in between this fall. They can build a tailgating package to suit your needs and your budget. If you prefer to use your own personal tailgating gear, 7 South will store, maintain, clean, and repair that gear as needed throughout the season. And if you prefer to rent some or all of your gear from 7 South, they offer many colors, types, and sizes to choose from. Call or go online today for a detailed quote customized to your specific needs. 662-321-1682. Or visit 7southtailgating.com.
Find where I was at real quick. Let's see. Is Rich Rod a head coach in 2020?
I'm going to say Rich Rodriguez is a head coach in 2021, and it's not at Ole Miss.
Okay. You did get your big green egg fixed.
I got a new one.
Oh, you got a new one.
Got a new one.
Fixed.
It was not fixable.
Oh, okay. Well,
I finally took it to in to see if it was fixable, and it was not. It had lived its best life.
Okay.
I said goodbye to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there one story you could tell regarding Ole Miss athletics that would so enrage the listeners they would get inspired to get their proverbial pitchforks and head to campus? Okay. Not with the current regime in any way. Yes, but give me a week to think about it. I got to figure out whether I want to tell the story or not. I have one, but I need to think about it because, oh, my God.
I've got one that I heard the other day that I cannot repeat. It was told to me off the record. I was told strictly off the record, but yes, it would.
I could tell one right now that they might still go chase down the former compliance staff, even though they're all gone. I'm going to hold off on it for now, but I'll think about it for next week. I may tell it next Friday. Let me just think about it.
This might endanger the life of a former coach.
Really?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Chase, as a Cardinals fan, can you give a pro projection of Zach Thompson? Did the Cardinals get a steal at 19, or was it the right spot with him with all his injury concerns? I love Zach Thompson. Love him. Think he's going to be a starter in Major League Baseball for a long time if he stays healthy. And while we've talked about injuries, and I've kind of talked about both sides of my mouth, they fix a lot of things. I think that he will be okay long term, and I do. I think that's a steal at 19. I think the Cardinals made a hell of a draft pick right there. So he might give the Cubs absolutely fits for a decade.
I hate this show.
Love some Zach Thompson. Yeah,
sure, he's a nice person.
Get the voodoo doll out.
May a swarm of locusts follow he and his family everywhere.
Okay. What's Oklahoma City going to do this offseason?
Cut salary.
Are they?
Yep.
Okay.
Not much. I'm guessing. I mean, I think they'd love to go get a shooting guard. I think they'd love to get Zach Levine from Chicago. I think they'd love to get Bradley Beal from Washington, but I don't see how they have the resources to make it happen.
Have either of you cut the cord? I thought you did it one time. I have. I've enjoyed it. I've had the only thing whatsoever negative, I will say, and now I have really fast internet. I have the internet wired into my television. I have no buffering problems, none of that kind of stuff, and I watch. Via having to do it through some other streaming service or something, I watch anything that I would typically watch anyway. The only negative is if you watch live sports with Twitter involved because you are 2 to 2.5 plays behind. That is now, to some people, couldn't matter at all. For somebody like Jeffrey, it would drive them up the wall.
For Jeffrey, that's a no. It's a no-go. It's a no-go. It's a non-starter.
I watch Saints games with my computer closed because every play will be given away.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You're 2.5 to 3 plays behind. Because if you have it up, you'll see, oh, my God, wow, and then it'll be like a minute and a half where you actually see what happened. Maybe not a minute and a half, but 45 seconds.
Huh.
Yeah. That's the drawback. If you don't care about that, it's got a DVR built into it. All good. No problems. I've got it all hooked up to Alexa now where I can just talk, and it changes the channel, opens the services, does everything for me. Hey, Alexa, open the golf channel on Hulu. Hey, Alexa, turn the volume up.
That's pretty cool.
Never touch a remote. All good.
I need to do it because I don't really watch games with Twitter on.
That's it. I save about $85 a month.
Now, will you get the NFL Sunday ticket?
No, but I didn't have it anyway.
Yeah. You watch Red Zone?
I do like Red Zone, yeah. And I've got some people with some accounts and things.
Yeah.
Know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. I have no other complaints to it whatsoever. I use Hulu Live is the one I use, and it's good. Chase, how many games do you predict as of now Ole Miss wins this season? I'm going back and forth between 5 and 6, and I haven't made a decision yet. So I'll go 5.5. Let's see. This one for you, Chase. Obviously, you watch a lot of golf. Yes. Who's the guy you pull for every time they're in a tournament? Also, is there a guy that maybe not so popular, but you find yourself pulling for? It says he has dibs on Alfred Monrod.
Who?
Yeah, it's fine. I guess I've been around Jeffrey too long. I've found myself pulling for Rory every time he's in a golf tournament, no matter who he's playing against. I would like Spieth to be better because I think the game is better with him better. But frankly, he's come off as kind of a whiner now, and he's annoying me. The two guys that aren't overly – I mean, they're good, obviously, but not perennial contenders that I do find myself pulling for are Brian Harmon and Charles Howell III, and I have no idea why. But if they're there.
Thurston's son.
First cousin, I think.
First cousin.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, affectionately known as Chucky Three Sticks. But yeah, he those two, I guess. Brian Harmon's a little bitty left-handed guy, so that probably makes sense. But Charles Howell, I don't know. He just cashes checks. He finishes like 21st in every tournament. But hey, that can give you a 20-year career and make millions of dollars. So that'll play. There's worse things than average PGA Tour pro golfer. Or redundant, but
yes.
The dude finishing like 36th on the money list is a millionaire, multi-millionaire with his own plane.
Yeah. The only thing like in sports that compares to it is being the backup quarterback to like Tom Brady.
Second string catcher behind an all-star.
Yeah.
Like,
the Cardinals backup catcher.
Yeah.
I ain't playing.
It's all good though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a couple of 15-day stretches where I play this year. That's it.
Yeah.
Gonna collect the check, get a per diem.
You heard any scheduling rumors with basketball or football? I do know in football they're talking to multiple ACC schools. I don't know how close those are getting done, but the schedule is pretty much done through like 2024, 2025. I mean, there's very little like Power 5 room in those years, but I know they're even discussing farther down the line in that 25 to 30 stretch. And I know there's some ACC stuff involved, but not sure past that. And then I have no idea from basketball. I'll let Neil answer that. But I know baseball's got East Carolina coming up on the road. They're going to that tournament in Arlington with Texas Tech, TCU, Ole Miss, LSU, Arkansas is what it is, I think. It might be Ole Miss State and Arkansas. Either way, it's 6 teams. It's 3 SEC teams, 3 Big 12 teams. They're also going to Dodgertown at 1 year to play in the Dodgertown Classic. That'll be Ole Miss, UCLA, USC, and someone else.
That's Vero Beach?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. They play at least one game in Dodger Stadium.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they play all their games in Dodger Stadium, but I know you have at least one game in Dodger Stadium.
Cool.
Yeah. State went out there a couple years ago. I think it's always SC and UCLA, and then I think the year State went, it was State and Oklahoma. I don't know who's going with Ole Miss, but
be a cool experience.
Yeah, I know that's coming up, but I think that's all I got there. So, basketball, no idea.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it. They I know they go to Brooklyn. They're playing the deal there. They play at Wichita. Butler comes here. They'll have a competitive schedule. Everyone in the league is going to have a competitive schedule. That's no longer. It's no longer even an option to not have a competitive schedule.
Right.
The league mandates it, and that was never a problem for Ole Miss. That was never Andy's problem. Andy's problem was never, hey, you didn't schedule enough. It was a Ben Howland issue a couple of years ago for Mississippi State. That was never. That hadn't been the deal for Ole Miss, not under Andy or under Kermit. Mm-hmm. They've always scheduled well enough to get it done. I need to tell you also that this podcast is brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets. No one loves stepping in their pet stuff. Tracking that stuff into your house is a nightmare. Scoopers will take care of it. They'll go into your backyard, apartment complex, or condominium and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard, and they'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required. You can cancel at any time, and if you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers, 662-506-2754, or simply send them an email at scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com to get your cleanings scheduled today. Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, they're number one and your pet's number two business.
So let's see. That's pretty much all the questions. Might have one more. It's a good question. I mean, we talked about yesterday, just kind of closing. How is it possible you're excited about the running game with the O-line that's currently coming back? Obviously, SEC defensive lines are quite potent. They have two good backs, and look, they just have to stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, it is going to be a disaster. If they really had just a rash of injuries along the offensive line, it's a disaster.
Yes.
If you stay healthy, given the backs, you can put at least a productive running game in place. And you have to rely on Rich Rod to be pretty creative with Corral and some different things to scheme it a little bit too.
Yeah, look, we'll talk about it a lot. It's a roster that is still somewhat in transition from NCAA sanctions to getting back to where they are. It's going to look better. They're just so young, and in some spots, maybe it works out. Maybe a handful of the young offensive linemen can step in and play. I've seen some of them in person. I've seen them in pictures. They look like young offensive linemen. Not the kind of guys that you want to go, hey, I tell you what, let's put you in at tackle here and let's head up to Columbia and see what happens. Not really the way you want to do that. Laramie Tunsil's don't grow on trees. Greg Little's don't grow on trees. And there's some development that has to happen. So they got to stay healthy in some spots. I just think they're going to be a little more talented. I think they're going to play hard. I think they're going to be more motivated. And we'll see. But like anything, you talk about Mississippi State and their draws and stuff, for example, in baseball. This team's going to have some luck go its way. And it's hard to count on that.
Let's see. No really other baseball news. I know Gray Kessinger was really close to a deal. I know he was potentially going to get a physical yesterday in Houston. He's going to sign, obviously. I know that the Astros were lowballing him there at one point. I don't know what the final number was. But, I mean, you have no leverage to come back. So, I mean, players are at such a disadvantage from a baseball standpoint.
Yes.
It just is what it is. But I expect Gray. I think Gray and Houston are the only two that haven't announced yet, and I expect Gray to give his social media decision here pretty soon. So that's sort of where that stands. Appreciate all the questions for everybody. This will close the podcast for the week. And again, we'll be back not on Monday for sure. We'll kind of let you know where we are after that. Neil will be in Fayetteville for orientation with Campbell for that point. So plenty of other stuff, plenty of some content, written content and things at rebelgrove.com. We'll be active on the message boards, and then we'll let you know when the podcasts are coming back. Talk to you next week.